All right, we back, guys. Sorry about that. Yo, yo, what's up, Teddy? We're back, guys. We're back, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, my bad about that, guys. Hold on one second. Let me just share this. Let me just share this to my Twitter right quick. These guys give me no heads up that they were coming in. No heads up whatsoever. And they have the key, so they're going to come in anyways. Very annoying, but we're going to continue. Give me 1 second. All right. Looks good. Cosmos is back. Teddy, what's up? Max. All right, let's continue. Or let's wait a bit because I told everyone give me 5 minutes. So let's hold on for 1 second and let's let some people come back in. But so far, I don't know what GR Max is talking about. So far, this chapter is a banger so far. This chapter has been absolutely amazing so far. Even though it's kind of like it's a steady pace because it's been one scene. It's been Dragon, Sabo, and Ivankov just talking, and then we're cutting to different things. Like we're cutting to the flashback now. We're cutting to talking about Cobra. We're talking about the Gods Knights. But I really like chapters like these because you get the most information in One Piece through dialogue, right? Like when it matters, like this. Because right now Sabo has a lot of information to give, not just to us, but even to the Revolutionary Army, to Dragon and Ivankov. So there's a lot for all of us to learn right now. So it's been really good so far. Da-da. But the thing that I've been spoiled on has not come up yet. I'll let you guys know when that comes up. All right, let's start reading. This is outrageous. First they attacked our beloved symbol, and now the plebs have taken away our exquisite food. Does the jealousy of these vermin know no bounds? I don't even want to keep the heads, just dispose of them at once. After all, after that, summon all the dreadful bodyguards and have them executed. Those miserable wretches allow this to happen on their watch. You depraved snail, I told you to hurry. What would you do if something were to happen to me? I've had enough. I'll walk myself. Consider yourself fired, you useless piece of trash. Okay, this is where we left off. He has the gun pointed right to his face, and it looks like he's about to pull the trigger. What a time to knock on the door and interrupt, too. So let's see what happens. Oh, Karasu. Karasu comes in. Swoop. My gun. Who do you think you are? Yep, Karasu, right here. So he shot Karasu, and it almost looks like the part of his body that got shot turned into a crow. Crowing suit. He's not a Logia though, is he? He's a Zoan. He's got to be a Zoan. No, he's not a Zoan because he's not a crow. It's like he's made of crows and he can summon crows rather than he is just a crow. Did we ever find out what type of fruit? Karasu has? Escape to the east of the city. What? Okay. It's the Revolutionary Army. They're still shooting at Karasu. Get Saint Get Saint Plumbing to safety. Let's riddle this scum with bullets. Blast him till there's nothing left. And they're shooting, they're shooting, they're shooting. Huh? Don't tell me there really is nothing left. He's a Logia. He's absolutely a Logia. This is like Crocodile's Sand or like Blackbeard's Darkness. Look at this. And now he's behind them. Obeli suit. And he cuts all of them. Northern captain of the Revolutionary Army, Karasu, ate the suit fruit. What is a suit? Laser shooter. Someone shoots the chains off. Hurry up and get. Oh, it's Lindbergh. Hurry up. Gather at the east side of the city. We're gonna get you out of here, okay? So he freed all these slaves. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You can thank us when you're free. Southern captain of the Revolutionary Army, Lindbergh. Does he not have a fruit then? They're really going at it over there. They're headed this way. Hurry up and release everyone. Leave it to me. Oh shit! Yo, Fujitora's here. They're headed this way. Hurry up and release everyone. Leave it to me. Karasu and Fujitora. Renkan. And he sends a bunch of crows towards Fujitora. Fujitora looks like he's slashing them all. And Morley's in the picture. I don't know what happened. All I see is a giant pan of Morley. Oh, Morley and Greenbull. And he's stabbing him through the hand. Yo, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what kind of excuses you want to come up with about they needed to protect their homeland. They couldn't be as destructive as possible. Bruh, you don't need to be destructive. You just need to be strong. You just need to be able to deal with the people in front of you. Oh my, this boy sure likes to play rough. Western captain of the Revolutionary Army, Morley. You're the ones destroying the city. Just cough up where your leader went off to. You shouldn't sniff around and stalk people, you dirty little perv. Karasu is cool, absolutely. Is Karasu a Zoan or Logia? Maybe even Paramecia. I think he's a Logia. His abilities so far are absolutely in line with Logia abilities. Fujitora, but he can also be a Paramecia because there's a lot of Paramecias that have like the Logia type abilities, right? Like Katakuri, like there's more. I just can't remember them now, but there's definitely more. You can even argue Pika. Pika has a very interesting type of Devil Fruit as well. Fujitora, what do you think you're doing? I'm calling in a meteor strike. Don't be an idiot. That's a terrible idea. There are 2 admirals here. If we were anywhere but the home of the gods, that'd be more than enough power to turn any battlefield upside down. That'd be more than enough power to turn any battlefield upside down. It didn't seem to turn Marineford upside down, with 4 admirals there. Whitebeard's the one that turned it upside down. Oh, I'm reading this in the wrong order. Hold on, I missed a bit. You are as bad as him. Watch where you're swinging. Ryukugu, you bastard. I'll see to it that you hang if any of us get hurt. Damn, it's impossible to fight here. Get out of the way already. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, they're definitely being nerfed here. If we were anywhere but the home of the gods, that'd be more than enough power to turn the battlefield upside down. Oh shit, it's the CP9. It's the Chapapa dude. And then the one that Chopper fought. And then Jabra. And then Bluno and Khalifa. All of them here. Man, that's a throwback right there. Jabra looks different. Even if you ignore the handicap, the revolutionary captains are doing well to stand their ground. Yes, even if you ignore the handicap, that's true. Just goes to show there are no pushovers. Chapapa. Yo. Karasu, Lindbergh, Morley going at it. Sabo, don't you have the keys to these collars yet? I just found out where they keep them. It won't be long. You're talking to Den Mushi. Huff huff. Limburg, what's up? Kuma Son's in Pangaea Castle, too. What? I just spotted him with that dumb father and son, Saint Duo Roswell and Charlos. Chief of Staff of the Revolutionary Army, Sabo. So he's doing the infiltration while everyone else is doing is having the grandiose battle on the outside. Suits Logia, yeah, but it hasn't been confirmed to be a Logia. Just suit fruit. What is suit? I don't even know what that is, to be honest. Let me. A black, powdery, or flaky substance consisting largely of amorphous carbon produced by the incomplete burning of organic matter. Soot. Soot. Yeah. Like that stuff underwater, right? That like divers have to deal with. But what does that have to do with crows? I don't understand. I like there is that one panel where it's like, or the one page where you can see it's kind of like soot that's going past the feet of the soldiers right before he like blitzes them from behind. But so is he creating crows out of soot? And his fruit really doesn't have much to do with crows. Soot is like ash, yeah. Revolutionary Army finally making a move against the world government. Soot is what collects in a chimney. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but isn't soot like you know when divers are swimming in like really deep caves, and like if they bump into the walls, isn't soot like all that powder that comes in that blinds them so that they can't really see? That's what I know as that's what I know soot as. I could be mixing it up with something else though. Katakuri is a special paramecia though, but he's not the only special paramecia, Ringo. Liu Kugyu. turned Punk Hazard with 2. What's up, Monkey D. Luffy? So they're all CP0 now. Cypher Pole is absolutely useless post time skip maximum. Absolutely useless. I mean, they're being used to push the plot in Egghead a little bit, which is great, and I'm really enjoying it. But from a power scaling perspective, they can't really affect the plot that much, right? Like, it takes an awakened Rob Lucci, an awakened Kaku, and Stussy to not even significantly impact the plot, to just impact it in a minor aspect where it's kind of like they're the Straw Hat, they're the guys teaming with the Straw Hats. They're like the Frankie family of Egghead, if that makes sense. That's the best way to put it. They start off by fighting with the Straw Hats, and then they team up with the Straw Hats, and that little bit of assistance might be that extra boost that the Straw Hats need to win in the arc. And that's the best of them, right? So, like, these guys over here, like Jobber and all of them, they're not going to do anything. Yeah, he's turning the Soot into crows, I figured. Soot kind of has a relationship with crows. Edgar Allan Poe, Victorian era stuff. Alright, let's continue. I just spotted him with that dumb father. Son Saint Duo. That dumb father and son Saint Duo, Roswell and Charlos. They must still be looking to get revenge for that thing we heard about at the public courtyard. What the hell? I'll make her my pet. He hasn't given up on getting Shirahoshi. Wow, still. And then someone is saying, I won't forgive them for using Kuma-san like this. Yeah, we won't let them get away with it. Merly, make sure everything's ready. Okay, okie dokie. Can you... Wait, what? No, I'm supposed to read this one first. Bonnie! Oh, yeah, this is back then. Huff, huff. Father. Then we got Vivi and Lucci. Can't you buzz off? I'd rather have Vice Admiral Garp's help. Don't worry, we'll protect you. Like you protected Shirahoshi, right? Oh, wait, you didn't. And that creep's definitely going to target her after. Or target her again, I should say. I'm afraid only King Cobra has been permitted with an audience with the 5 elders. But, Chakapel, this won't take long, and it would be tedious for us to wait outside. The fact that Pel's still alive. Wait, what? This is the end of the chapter? This won't take long, and it would be tedious for us to wait outside. It'd be a much better use of your time to look out for Vivi. She's always been a mischievous one. You can't let her out of your sight for a second. What's the purpose of this meeting? One Piece, chapter 1083, end. No break next week. Good news. Okay. So the spoiler I read was bullshit then. The spoiler I read was complete bullshit. But I'm afraid if I should say it. Wait, there's no way. Spoilers for 1084 wouldn't be out yet, right? Because I read the spoiler like 3 days ago. Okay. I may as well just tell you guys what the spoiler was then, because it seems like it was completely fake. It must have been a fake spoiler. Someone in the comments on the TCB page put the picture of the Espada, the 10 Espada, and they're like, God's Knights, bros. It's our time. Imagine the Espada invade One Piece. One of the best groups in anime, man. Okay, so the spoiler that I saw was a picture on Twitter of like, it was like a meme picture. And it was like a bunch of people, but like captioned over them. And one said, Kid 3 bill, Luffy 3 bill, Law 3 bill, and then there was one above that said Sabo 3.3 bill. So first I was looking at that and I was like, what the hell is that? And then I was like, oh no, the 1083 spoilers are out. Sabo has a 3.3 billion berry bounty or something like that. I don't remember if it was exactly 3.3, but it was Sabo having a 3 point something billion berry bounty. And it's a very, 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 very believable spoiler if you think about it. Considering that 1082 was about Sabo and he was about to start talking about what happened, he just came back from pulling off one of the most anti-world government things that you can possibly do, and he is the main center of attention of the biggest thing going on in the world right now. Even we saw it with the Flame Emperor and all that stuff, the way they're hyping him up. So for him to get a bounty above Luffy and above Kid and above Law and at Yonko level is absolutely believable. So that's what I was spoiled on, but I guess it's fake. But someone also told me that even with that, there's a bigger thing. So I guess that didn't occur because there's nothing in this chapter. There's nothing in this chapter bigger than Sabo having a 3 billion plus berry bounty. So whatever that other thing was probably fake as well. So I guess this week a bunch of fake spoilers came out, which is interesting. I've never experienced that before. It's rare that I get spoiled, but I've never been fake spoiled ever. But this is a good chapter regardless. I don't even care in reality. I'm not too worried about that. Sabo's bounty wasn't in the chapter, but we'll wait for the officials because we also thought that 9 was the confirmed number of God's Knights. Sabo's bounty wasn't in the chapter, but we'll wait for the officials because we also thought that 9 was the confirmed number of God's Knights. Okay, but that's still possible because we get a picture of God's Knights and Dragon is talking about them. And whatever the official is, there's context here where he's specifically, there's a lot of words talking about them. And there's a picture that shows either 8 or 9 of them. So it's very possible that the number 9 was mentioned in the Raws, but it got lost through translation, but Viz might pick that up. But with Sabo, I don't see how this can be a translation error because there's no panel even remotely on the topic of a Sabo bounty. And bounties come with pictures, right? Like we would see a picture. The bounties come in 2 ways: either the poster and we see the poster, or we see the character and we see the character's bounty, right? So either like with Law, Luffy, and Kid, where we see the poster of the bounty, or like with Hancock and Blackbeard, where we see their name and then their bounty underneath. This chapter doesn't have either one of those, and that's not something that can get lost in translation. So Sabo's bounty is not in this chapter, one way or another, unless there's parts of the chapter taken away. Because again, this is scanned. I don't know. Maybe they missed a whole page or something. But in terms of translations, that's not a translation error. Like, you can't mistranslate from having it from someone having a bounty to not having a bounty at all. Right? Redon had a meltdown because of it. Who? Recon? King Recon? Had a meltdown because of what? It's big if you think Shanks is the God Knight. Yeah, it is. It's definitely big if you think Shanks is the God Knight. And bro, there's no way that's not Shanks. I don't care what anyone says. Like, look at that picture. It's one thing to be early on in the series and not know how, like, exactly what kind of character design you want Kaido to have, or Big Mom, or Blackbeard Pirates, or Warlords. So you just draw a random thing that later on doesn't actually resemble them or anything else in the future. But to have a silhouette that directly resembles an already existing character, a major character that has already been shown multiple times to have some kind of ties to Merijoa, is too big of a coincidence. At the very least, at the absolute bare minimum, very least, even if this isn't Shanks, Oda's intention is definitely to make us think this is Shanks. Without a doubt, that's his intention. You can kind of see the hair. You can see the sword. The only thing that I would say, and again, this is very hard to actually see, but Shanks has pants that cut above the ankles. It's kind of like long sleeve shorts almost, right? It's halfway down his shin. And then he has sandals. This guy looks like he has pants all the way down, tucked into some kind of shoe. That's the only thing I would say. But then again, that could be a simple uniform change. Everything else is far too accurate. Probably Shanks' brother, as Shanks is a celestial dragon. That's very likely. Some kind of brother or some kind of relative. The spoilers pointed out 9 God Knights, but we see 8. The number is important because if it's 9, that points at Straw Hat fights. But the Straw Hats are 10, unless you mean Luffy fights Emu. Luffy fights Emu, and then the 9 Straw Hats fight the God's Knights. But no, either way, I just don't see. I don't see it being where Zoro is gonna fight someone with the same title that like an Usopp or a Chopper will fight, right? Like, I know that happened in CP in Enies Lobby with CP9. They were all Cypher Pole agents, but unless it's gonna be something like that again, where the gap is significantly huge between Lucci and Kaku and Jabra, and then like the weaker ones, I don't see how the God's Knights, you're gonna have one God's Knight against Chopper, and then another one against Zoro, pushing Zoro to extreme diff. I just don't see how that makes any sense. Because these guys have to be relatively on the same level, right? This is a very high and prestigious title that they have. And not just title, but job that they have. Not Recon. Redon is an important character in the spoiler scene. What are you talking about? Redon had a meltdown because of this. Redon is an important character in the spoiler scene. What spoiler scene? Am I missing something? Who's this Redon? And what spoiler scene? Are you guys talking about the spoilers that you read, gave names and stuff? If Shanks were to be God Knight, who would the other God Knights be that could possibly be on his level? New characters, maybe? I think they would be new characters. I think so. We have 2 little characters moving into the end game. Because it's not that we have 2 little characters. But we have very few characters that are still alive, that are still active, that are not in prison, that are doing nothing. Because if you think about it now, every character is pretty much doing something. The only characters I can think of that aren't in prison and they're not defeated, that aren't necessarily making a move in the final end game right now, is Boa Hancock and Rayleigh. And that's about it. Considering Marines, like, I don't want to say Sengoku because Marines are Marines. Marines as a whole are making moves. So whenever they decide to send Sengoku, they'll send Sengoku. The same way Garp just went. Sengoku we'll definitely see Sengoku fight again. But Rayleigh and Hancock are the only two characters I can really think of that aren't really in this mix right now. We got a glimpse of them in 1059 or 1058, whichever one it was, but they're not in this hamster wheel with everyone else right now. Just all these moving parts. Everyone else is. So how are you gonna? What kind of characters are you gonna introduce? How are you gonna find 8 characters that are both strong and relevant, but are not relevant enough to be doing anything right now? They are not in prison and they can fill up the God's Knights. There's no one left. We're really at the end game right now. Everyone has a role to play. So this has to be new characters. At least that's how I feel. The guy to his left doesn't look like Beckman. No, it's not Beckman. That was the first thing I thought too, but it's not. It's naturally the first thing that you're gonna look for, right? If you see Shanks, you're gonna look to see if the rest resemble the red hair pirates. The God Knight that looks like Shanks is in the front with a clear silhouette. Bro, if it's Shanks and he is Zoro's matchup, all Shanks fanboys are over. Works for me because I'm both a Shanks fanboy and a Zoro fanboy. They're both my favorite characters. Redon is the person who confirms the spoilers every week. Oh, is that the Japanese guy with the mask? The Japanese guy that covers his face? Hose Mad says it's gonna be 9 buggy seraphims all along. Ridon is the credible leaker who provides chapter summaries every week. The fake spoilers had Ridon in his feelings. Oh, so then he got mad about it. Okay, I see. So there's one designated guy that provides the spoilers. I did not even know this. Isn't Ridon the guy that the Japanese YouTuber that Ohara bases a lot of his videos off of? The guy with like the black helmet? I'm sure I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Boa will beat Blackbeard. Oh, I wish. That's not gonna happen. I wish, but it's not. I think the God's Knights are all powerful celestial dragons. Well, if they're celestial dragons, why are they protecting other celestial dragons? Why are they protecting Marijoa? Why are they protecting the 5 elders? Why aren't they just chilling like the other celestial dragons, right? Protect yourselves. As expected, though, they're not a foe who will just take all this lying down. Our real battle will start when they mobilize God's Knights. Isn't it interesting that Dragon knows about God's Knights, but he doesn't know about Imu? But I guess everybody knows about God's Knights. It's just we're learning about it right now. Let me look at these pictures real good. Okay, yeah, I was right. One of them kind of. The one to the right of Shanks. So to the left of us, the readers. Immediately next to Shanks, with the hat and the horns. The hat and the horns immediately reminded me of page 1. And I'm looking at a picture of page 1 now. And the hat is a very similar hat that page 1 wears, and the horns and the size of the horns and where they're coming from fits as well. The only thing that doesn't add up is page 1. Like, of all people, what the hell would page 1 be doing as a god? It doesn't make any sense. He was probably the weakest Tobiropo. How is he going to be a God's Knight? But I'm just saying, that reminds me of page 1. There's no one else I know that has like a hat like that Urahara type hat. and then two horns sticking out of it. And then there's no one else here that seems familiar whatsoever. The only other thing I would say with this Shanks look-alike, if you remove everything else and you just look at the hair, the head and the hair, it reminds me of the young Gorosei, the blonde Gorosei, the one that everyone thought was Sanji's father years ago. So maybe each Gorosei is like the leader of some kind of group, or they each play a pivotal role separate from just being a Gorosei member. And maybe this guy's role is that he's the leader of God's Knight. And usually when we see him, he's dressed in a more diplomatic fashion. But maybe they all have a different outfit when they're in combat mode, right? So maybe like this guy, the blonde Gorosei, is the leader of God's Knights, and this is how he dresses and this is how he looks when he's in God's Knights mode, right? When he's the captain, he's ready for combat. And this could be tied to Shanks as well. Maybe he's Shanks' uncle or something. Seriously, we don't know. But maybe he's the leader of this, and then maybe like the swordsman guy, the Gandhi lookalike, is like the leader of like some kind of swordsman group. Or maybe he was the previous world's strongest swordsman, and that enough is alone. And then maybe they each have like a very unique thing about them from a combat perspective, so that they each bring something unique to the table when they sit down as the five elders and discuss whatever they talk about. They're each unique in their own right, and they each bring something different to the table. So the only thing I would say is, if this isn't Shanks, this is the blonde Gorosei, and he's the leader of this group, and he is somehow related to Shanks. Maybe it's Shanks' uncle or something like that. I don't know. Redon is anonymous from Saudi Arabia, I think. Oh, so it's not. No, that YouTuber is different. Okay, so it's not the YouTuber. Okay, so we got one person saying he's from Saudi Arabia. We got someone else saying he's from Spain. Someone else saying he's from Mexico. Vivi going to Laugh-Tale? Probably. Honestly, probably. Vivi is a straw hat. She is a straw hat. She is what? Technically the fifth member. The sixth member to join the Straw Hat crew. Before Chopper even. So she has to. Every Straw Hat has to be at Laugh-Tale. Every single Straw Hat. Not people that were almost Straw Hats. Not Carrot. Not Kinemon. Not Momonosuke. But Vivi and Yamato have to be there, because they are literally Straw Hats. It's like Jinbei. Well, Yamato's more like Jinbei, where it's like they were officially Straw Hats, and we know that eventually they're gonna be on the crew. It's just a matter of when. Vivi won't ever be like on the crew, but because she is a Straw Hat, she will have to be there for the last voyage. That's just my opinion. Not the last voyage, the last island. Because celestial dragons have inherently high combat potential. Doflamingo, Shanks. Mihawk could be a former God Knight. Who knows? Mihawk could very well be a former God Knight. I like that idea a lot. Because what is Mihawk's past? Young Kaido? Oh, no. But that's not young. That's just like, if you're talking about the guy with the horns, that's currently, right? That's what they look like right now. Or at the very least, these are the active God's Knights. So Kaido's not a part of them, obviously. Kaido's been defeated. The God Knights, I keep saying gods, it is God's Knights. The God's Knights make a lot of sense, considering that the entirety of Marijoa, from what we knew, were only guarded by the admirals, which would make Marijoa vulnerable when admirals were busy. So that makes a lot of sense now. But for me, the answer was always Imu. Imu being incredibly and ridiculously strong. If Imu really is multiple tiers above everyone else, including Shanks, then it would make sense. But at the same time, it wouldn't make sense because who really knows Emu exists? No one really knows. Even Dragon doesn't know. So as long as they know that admirals aren't there, or that not all of the admirals, because let's be real, the Revolutionary Army can take on two admirals. If the whole Revolutionary Army, including Dragon, come, two admirals are not doing anything. They're not doing anything. Dragon probably beats an admiral, and Sabo already goes to a really good fight with an admiral. Now throw in all the commanders, all the vice commanders, all the other subordinates like Kuma and Ivankov and everyone else. They could probably take on three admirals probably. But if all of the admirals are there, like if there's three and then the fleet admiral, nah, they're not dealing. I'll straight up say they're not dealing with that. So that's enough to scare away anyone, anybody. But when is there ever? There's barely ever multiple admirals on Mary Joa. It's just that they're close. They're close to Mary Joa, or they were close to Mary Joa pre-time skip. But I don't know how close they are now with the new Navy HQ. Not Yamato, please. Trust me, Ringo. I feel the same way. I don't want Yamato to join, and I don't want Kara to join. Especially Kara. Thank God Kara didn't join. But Yamato already joined, so we're gonna see Yamato. And I'm not hating on Yamato, but I'm just like, when it comes to joining the Straw Hats, I'm very picky about it. I'm very defensive of the crew. Like, you know how there's always someone in the crew when Luffy tries to make someone join that's like, hold on, Luffy, think twice about it. Like with Brook, when he tried to recruit Brook, everyone's like, hold on, think twice. That's me with everybody, with every character there is, except Jinbei, because Jinbei, there was no one that deserved to be a Straw Hat more than Jinbei. Everyone else, I'm always very defensive. I'm like, do I want to see them in every panel? Because above everything else, literally above everything else, the best thing about One Piece to me personally is the Straw Hat dynamic. When they're all on the ship and they're having fun, and we see how each character reacts to, like how they all have their own different chemistries with each other, and when they're joking around and all that stuff. Like, go back in the day, like in Sky P, I remember when the ship from Sky Island fell on them. Just like, that's my favorite thing about One Piece, is the adventures aspect of sailing with these people and seeing them grow and seeing them bond together. So I don't want to see a character ruin that, and I think Yamato would ruin that. Straight up, I'm not gonna lie. I think Yamato would absolutely ruin that dynamic. I don't think Yamato fits. I think the later on she actually joins, the better for the story. But so far, everyone that's joined, I've been happy with. The only one I was skeptical about for a while was Brook. It took me, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it took me a couple of years to warm up to Brook. And I didn't hate Brook, I just didn't feel like Brook really fit. And then that he slowly changed my mind, and now he's one of my favorites. Well, not one of my favorites, but I like him a lot. But Frankie's one of my favorite characters in One Piece. Frankie literally from his introduction sold me. I was like, yo, get this guy on the crew. So when I found out he was gonna join the crew, I was beyond happy. Obviously, the original five are the original five. They will forever be the original five and the best five Straw Hats. Any way you look at it, they are the Straw Hats. Like, the Straw Hat Pirates don't exist if one of them is missing to me. Those are the five. They are the backbone of the Straw Hat crew. And then you have Robin has a very unique and special role that's very endearing to the crew. They're not the same without Robin as well. Chopper, I get. I just don't like Chopper. Chopper is probably my least favorite character in all of One Piece. But I understand Chopper very well. I understand Chopper's role, and I know how important Chopper is to the Straw Hats and how important Chopper is to other readers. And I understand why. So I gladly accept Chopper. Just not my personal preference. And then Frank and Brook, yeah. And then Jinbei, like I said, Jinbei deserved it more than anyone. And from a moral standpoint, I don't know if there's any more righteous and honorable character. Like, who is the most good character in all of One Piece? Like, good-hearted, the best person as a person. Who is the most good? I would say it's Jinbei in all of One Piece. No one is more kind-hearted, has a better moral compass, is more honorable than Jinbei. So to see him join was fantastic. Anyone else now, I'm just hesitant about, especially the later on we get. Jinbei is the best character. Is he from like a moral standpoint? He's the best character in One Piece. I don't understand how anyone can dislike Jinbei as a character. No, not Yamato. We want Vivi. I love Vivi. I forgot to talk about Vivi. I absolutely love Vivi. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it when I finished Alabasta and saw that Vivi was not going to join them, which is one of the things that makes that scene even more special. That scene where they're raising up their hands, such a beautiful scene. Keep Yamato for Two Piece Shippuden. Keep Yamato for a whole different anime. Throw her in Boruto, man. Poofy's crew. One Piece Shippuden. Poofy's adventure with Yamato. But Imu is unknown to even celestial dragons. True, very true. Jinbei is such a go, absolutely. Yeah, Yamato would be annoying in those panels. Okay, so it's not just me. Like, think about those panels where it's like Zoro sleeping around, or like he's sleeping and like Sanji's bothering him, and then they start fighting, doing their thing. Nami's angry at Luffy. Luffy's all bloodied and bruised up because of Nami, and she's beating him up. Jinbei's scared of Nami. Chopper and Usopp are probably goofing around over there. Frankie's just doing super in the corner like an idiot. Brooke is doing 45 degrees. And then Robin's just being like the mother that's just laughing at like all the cute children goofing around. And then you just have Yamato. I don't see how Yamato would fit into that. And I know Yamato has been in more laid back, goofy type scenes. But for me personally, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, it would ruin it. If I saw a scene like that and then Yamato's in there, it would ruin it for me. I also don't want to take any characters from Wano because I think Wano was so damn long and so damn stretched out and had a lot of flaws that like we're better off just leaving those characters there. Leave them there. The OG5 are the main characters after all. 100%. 100%. Remember, they are the ones that slapped their feet on the barrel before entering the Grand Line and said their dreams. They are the ones that entered the Grand Line together. Remember how big of a milestone and how big of a step that was. The beginning of One Piece was literally all about just getting to the Grand Line. Sure, of course it was about finding the One Piece. But all of the lore was about the Grand Line, the Grand Line, the Grand Line. Very few people have been there before. Once you cross, it's not like anything you've ever seen before. And none of them have ever been to the Grand Line. None of them have ever left the East Blue except for Sanji. So when they were about to cross the Grand Line, it was those five. And then it's like everything else from that moment on is no longer the recruiting stage. It's the journey. That's how I see it. It's like the beginning of One Piece was the recruiting stage. Let's recruit before we start our journey. Then everything else after that was let's start our journey and recruit people along the way as we're in this journey. So the way I see it, it's kind of like they picked up Chopper, they picked up Nico Robin, they picked up Frankie, they picked up Brooke in the middle of their journey to the One Piece. But prior to that, like Arlong, like I don't know, you can kind of say it was all the journey, but not really. I feel like Usopp, Nami, Sanji, Zoro, they were recruited. Well, Zoro was definitely recruited. Zoro, before he even stepped foot on the island, knew that he wanted Zoro to be a part of his crew. And I'm making a video about that, guys. I'm making a very good video about that, but it's a long video. The script is very long. The script right now is making it look like it's going to be a 2-hour video, and I still got much more to go. So I'm probably going to have to cut down a lot of the script, but it's going to be about Zoro and Luffy and who I think was stronger at every single point in the story. And I go into detail, deep detail, and I explain exactly why. It's going to be a good video, but it's not going to come out for a while because it's a lot, guys. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. But yeah, I feel like the original 5 were prior to the real journey beginning. Imu has invincible power and Gear 5 is a natural counter. After Luffy beats him, he will look like the strongest. And then comes Teach taking away his fruit with Yami Yami. I think Blackbeard and Luffy are going to team up to fight Imu in Pangaea Castle. Because I also think the final road poneglyph is in Pangaea Castle, guarded by Imu, and I think Blackbeard and Luffy are gonna fight Imu, defeat Imu, and then they're gonna be in a room with a defeated and dead Imu, a road poneglyph right in the center, Blackbeard on one side, Luffy on the other side. Both just went through hell to beat Imu, and now they gotta fight each other for the final remaining road poneglyph. So I think it's gonna be the final war, and then Luffy finds the One Piece, and then when he finds the One Piece, the story ends. Like he finds the One Piece, and then he parties or whatever it is he wants to do. But I think that Luffy's dream, what Luffy wants to do, like I said in my Joy Boy theory video, I think Luffy's dream is to unite everybody, every single person in the world, as his Nakama, in one piece of the world. Hence One Piece. And I think that's what Joy Boy's original dream was. I think what Joy Boy was actively doing with the Ancient Kingdom is he was making it as great as possible and as technologically advanced as possible, so he can bring everyone from the world over to this kingdom to live together in one piece under his banner. I made a whole video on it. I think that's why he was the first pirate, because he was the first person actively going out to sea constantly and doing these things. And I think Roger wanted to do the same thing, and I think that's what Luffy wants to do. But you can't do it unless you're Pirate King, right? This was a great chapter, though. This was a really good chapter. It was just very different from the usual ones. Mr. 2 was, yeah, okay, you know what? Mr. 2 is up there as well. But Mr. 2, it's hard to say because Mr. 2 didn't start off so good. He had to kind of like redeem himself. Right? Like, remember how Mr. 2 started off? And he was working on the Crocodile. He knew what kind of a guy Crocodile was, and Baroque works. So I wouldn't, because of that, I can't put Mr. 2 there. With Jinbei, I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about from the beginning, from his flashbacks, from the Sun Pirates, even whatever things they did wrong, he tried to redeem. Like, look at what Arlong did with Nami in Arlong Park or Kokoyashi Village. None of that is really Jinbei's fault. That's just the way things played out. But he felt it was his responsibility and his fault. And he felt he had a need to personally apologize to Nami. Vivi fits so well in those scenes with Nami and Luffy, and Sanji simping for her, and she has better dynamic with Zoro than most post-Santos strats. I'm just gonna say this, so you guys know. Vivi, I like Vivi more than I like Robin. To me, it's Nami, Vivi, Robin. And I think Robin is slightly overrated in the community, but we're not gonna get into that. I love Vivi. I loved Vivi so much, man. Vivi was one of my favorite Straw Hats. I think she was the perfect counter to Nami, where she wasn't too different from Nami, but she wasn't too alike Nami. Nico Robin is perfect too, because she's very different from Nami, but she's kind of like, I don't know. I know people love those type of characters like Nami and not Nami, like Robin and Law, like those quiet, introvert kind of characters. Maybe they just don't relate with me as much. I liked Vivi a lot because Vivi was like Nami, but she was a kinder Nami, and she had her own moments where like they were fishing with Karu, so she like knocked all of them out. She had her moments for like stuff like that too. That's more of like a Nami thing, but she was very different from Nami as well. What if Shiryu was right that the black ship is just a ship of the gods' knights and they are guarding the road poneglyph and have the whirlpool fruit maybe? But aren't they always in Marijoa? Because look at what Dragon said. Dragon says, where's this page? As expected though, they're not a foe who will just take all this lying down. Our real battle will start when they mobilize God's Knights. So they haven't mobilized them. So they wouldn't be moving around in ships. They would just be sitting in Marijoa waiting for that moment, right? Waiting for the moment that they're called upon. Raftail became Laugh-Tail. Maybe Lodestar will become Roadstar. Maybe. Uh, Hi, just arrived. What's up, Black Lemmy? What's up, bro? Did you already talk about Shanks is a god knight theory? Yeah, yeah. It's not even a theory. I wouldn't even consider it a theory. I think everyone that's reading this chapter, their initial reaction would be that Shanks. Then it's just a matter of do you really believe it's Shanks or not? I'm kind of, I'm still kind of iffy about it because I know how Oda is with silhouettes. He's extremely shady with silhouettes. And Shanks doesn't wear pants tucked into shoes or boots or whatever that is. He wears like again, he wears these long shorts that cut like halfway down his shins. A part of me, you know what, guys? I really think this is the blonde Gorosei. Remember, there was a scene where he was wearing a coat once. I think it's the Emu introduction scene. Let me go back to Emu's introduction. Emu first scene. I'm pretty sure he was wearing a coat. They were all wearing coats, right? Okay, let me. Does anyone remember what chapter Emu's introduction scene was? What chapter was Emu introduced? Chapter 906. Okay, let's see. Because I remember all of the five elders were wearing special coats in that chapter as they were walking across the halls to go see Emu. 906. Damn, it's been almost 200 chapters since the Reverie. That is crazy. But then again, the Reverie was like 2017, right? Has it been 6 years since the Reverie? And we're only getting a flashback on what really happened now? Yo, Wano was so damn long, bro. Here we go. Sacred Mary Joa. Let's see. You guys can pull it up too. Pull it up. Pull up chapter 906. Because I want you guys to see what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, never mind. I forgot this is Emu's actual introduction. Is the straw hat pen. I forgot all about this. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I totally forgot this is Emu's introduction. Anyways, Reverie is like 5 chapters or something, so it's got to be coming up soon. I think it's the last panel of the entire Reverie, isn't it? Okay, so 907 is Shanks. So 908, the Reverie begins. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Let's see. Yes, it's this one. Okay, here we go. So go to chapter 908, and you see the massive panel where the Reverie starts, and it shows the whole table, and it says World Meeting Reverie. Let us commence with a discussion about this beautiful world of ours. Towards the very end of chapter 908, go to the page directly underneath that. So the meeting has begun. They say that Korba, King of Alabasta, desires an entire audience with us. Now look at the 5 elders and look at how they're all dressed here. Look to the far right. The blonde Gorosei. Look at the jacket, the coat that he's wearing, his pants, his shoes, his hair. Now tell me one thing. If he were to have a sword with a hilt similar to Griffin, similar to Shanks' hilt, and he were to wield that sword and stand at a very specific angle, like in this silhouette with Dragon, tell me that does not resemble him. Tell me I'm wrong. 908, don't go to the last page. Go to the page where the 5 elders are walking and you see them from the front and they're all talking. 800 years ago, the Nefertari dynasty was the sole bloodline of the first 20 to remain in Lower Realm. In other words, they are traitors. Has he conned onto something? Let us pray it does not derail the talks. Especially with this discussion of Big Mom and Kaido. It has been 2 years since the Paramount War, and the ruling will not cease. Go to that page. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Peace, Cosmos. Appreciate you pulling up, man. Yeah, Ringo, you're absolutely right. Vivi would have became a background character. Like, look at Usopp. Usopp has become almost irrelevant at this point. But I think we're waiting for Elbaf for Usopp. But even so, Usopp should have had much more screen time. I'll watch the replay to hear your take, but I'm not sold either. I will like it either way though. I don't think it's Shanks, as you said. People would assume that it's Shanks because of the silhouette, and he wouldn't spoil that about Shanks. My first impression was the blonde Elder Star as well. Yeah, like, look at that page that I'm talking about. His jacket. I think it's him. I don't think it's Shanks. And it could very well be that this guy is related to Shanks. For all we know, right? Who's to say he's not? But anyways, it could be anything. It could be anybody at this point, but one thing that's for sure is Oda clearly wants us to think it's Shanks. That's for sure. Is that Oda wants us to think it's Shanks. As expected, though, they're not a foe who will just take all this line down. Our real battle will start once they mobilize gods and knights. And we know that King Cobra got to sit down with the elders. So what do they do with Pell and Chaka? Did they kill them then? Because it seems like, because we get that picture of Sabo standing next to Cobra's dead body. And right now Sabo's running around in the castle. So it seems like Cobra gets killed right here in this room. And Sabo makes his way here and sees it. And then he gets framed. I don't think any of the elders is a god knight, though. I think GK are under the 5 elders in rank. God's knights. I think the leader of God's knight could be a 5 elder. Could be one of the elders. That's what I think. But anyways, guys, this was a good stream. I appreciate you guys pulling up. Black Lemmy, I appreciate you pulling up. Teddy, Ringo, the usual faces. Dara, Monkey D. Luffy. Cosmos was in here earlier. We got a good group of guys this time. SD. I don't even think I saw SD. What's up, bro? GR Max was in here. Hose Mad. A lot of faces. A lot of people. I appreciate you guys pulling up. This was a good one. This was a good chapter, and we don't have a break. So 1084 should be out this time next week, and that's very good news. Very good news. Interesting to see. I'm going to have to, now that I know that the spoilers are fake, and I already read the chapter, I'm going to go look into those spoilers. I want to find out what everyone read in the spoilers, and what things were real, what things were fake. But yeah, I appreciate you guys pulling up, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Take care.